Well, you know, more than 62,000 customers are without power right now in and around Houston, Texas. We're joined right now on the phone by Stacey Cox with CenterPoint Energy. Stacey, thanks for joining us this evening. Are most of these outages in the city of Houston itself?
Most of the outages are to the west and north. They have almost exactly tracked the path of the storm.
And we are still dealing with several severe thunderstorm warnings. We've got tornado warnings too. But Mike, I think we're especially concerned about the flood threat in Houston.
Without a doubt. This is becoming a bigger issue right now, just seeing that they have multiple water rescues ongoing right now. Almost all the creeks and bayous are now out of the banks. Oh, it doesn't get much worse than this.
And it's late at night, it's dark, people without power now too. So a very scary situation unfolding now for the city of Houston. In fact, more than 60,000 customers at last check without power in and around the Houston area. We're joined now by Stacey Cox with CenterPoint Energy. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I talked to you a little while ago. Is that number still about 63,000?
That number bounces around a bit. It's gone up. It's gone back down. We haven't been able to get it back too much further underneath 60,000 yet.
And I can understand that with the rough weather that you're going through right now. You still got the heavy rain. Mike was just talking about the flash flooding. They're saying to shelter in place, so it's not like your crews can get out there and get the power turned back on again anytime soon.
Well, we're doing what we can remotely, and we'll continue to do that all night. And as soon as it's safe, we'll get our crews out there, and they won't stop until the job's done.
And Stacey, you know, we're talking about a lot of lightning strikes where you are. Earlier we had a severe warning with some strong winds. What do you think attributed to most of the power outages, and where are most of the power outages right now?
Right now, the power outages have extended across of our service territory along with the storm. So now that the storm's gone across, so are the power outages. And a lot of the power outages are caused by wind.
Basically causing the trees to come down on top of power lines, or the power lines themselves being knocked over?
Exactly.
All right, Stacey, thanks so much. And I know it's a scary night to be losing your power with all the weather that's going on where you are. We're going to take a look at the radar right now and show you still what's happening in Houston. We're talking over 2,000 lightning strikes over the last 15 minutes. We continue to have a flash flood warning in effect, and even a flash flood emergency now on the west side of Houston. And I'm afraid it's probably going to get extended to the east and south of Houston as those storms are really expanding in coverage over towards the Baytown area and approaching League City as well. So again, emergency officials are saying please stay off the road, shelter in place. A lot of folks just watched the Rockets game. The Rockets won, but guess what? They can't go home right now. Officials are saying please just stay in your seats and just wait this one out, because you don't want to go outside in all this heavy rain, all the lightning strikes, and now the streets are filling up with water as well. We've seen pictures showing that already. The bayous have come up several feet in a short period of time. Stay with us. We'll continue to follow this developing situation, and unfortunately it may get worse before it gets any better. Hey everybody, we've got a dangerous situation right now in Houston, Texas, where flash flooding is occurring right now. This is a flash flood warning in effect for Fort Bend and Harris counties. It does include Houston, the southwest side of Houston, looking at a flash flood emergency. And some of these flash flood warnings go for quite some time. So again, you can see the heavy rain that is still occurring, and it's going to be a while because these storms are really not moving a whole lot. They just continue to drop a very heavy amount of rainfall in a very short period of time. The bayous have come up very quickly, and we're already seeing some evidence of street flooding with pictures that have been sent into the Weather Channel, and they're saying now to shelter in place. Do not head out there right now. Travel is not advised. I know the Rockets game just got out. They're telling people to stay at the arena because of just how dangerous it is outside on the streets of Houston. We're looking at some of the 3-hour rainfall totals. Doppler radar estimating about a half a foot of rain just within the last few hours on the west side of Houston, right along Interstate 10, down towards the Sugarland area, over 5.5 inches of rain. And right in the city, right in the downtown, we're talking about 3.5 inches of rain. And before all this happened, flash flood guidance was saying anywhere from 3 to 5 inches would cause flooding. Well, guess what? We're well over that now. And unfortunately, with more storms forming along an outflow boundary on the south side of Houston, we're seeing more massive amounts of rainfall across this region. So here's a couple of storm reports for you. Again, flooding is going on. We've had some trees come down as well. Many people without power. power, 63,000 customers without power, but there's a report of flooding. Homes flooding in and around the Houston area, 5 to 7 inches of rain falling right across this region. We've had hail, and again, we've had some wind as well, and of course the lightning. If you don't have your power and it's dark outside, you are certainly seeing plenty of light coming through the window courtesy of lightning. We're talking, look at all those lightning strikes from Humble, Texas, right on down towards League City. Over 2,100 strikes in the last 15 minutes. This is real-time lightning happening right now, and you just want to stay indoors, stay away from the windows. It's still a very serious situation that continues to unfold before our eyes. So again, we're hoping this isn't a catastrophe, but again, it is a flash flood emergency, so that means you really need to take it very, very seriously. All right, we want to go in depth now on some of these storms and bring in Mike Bettis, who joins me here in the lab to talk more about the movement of these storms. Mike, and are they even moving, really? No,
very, very little, unfortunately, Kelly. I'm looking at some of the latest accumulation totals here in Houston. We're pushing almost 7 inches. There have to be, I'm going to surmise now, at least a dozen different areas around Houston where we've got high water. Wow. So we've got some new reports here. Bunker Hill Village, west side of town, 8 inches of rain has fallen there. High water on Katy Freeway, west side of town. Ritchie Road, Highway 225. It's got high water on it right now. We've got structural flooding in Jersey Village. We've got Karchmont subdivision near the intersection of Richmond and Chimney Rock, under 3 feet of water here, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, all the bayous are out of their banks at this point. Flooding I-10 near North Side. So all kinds of issues. And by the way, our flash flood warning has been extended a couple of more hours, goes till 2:45 local time. So this is not going to end anytime soon.
And we have extended our coverage here on the Weather Channel as a result of what we're seeing right now, because this is such a dangerous, dire situation really for Houston. Yeah. The Houston Tollway on the west side also flooded. We were just talking to someone who got out of the Rockets game. He's stuck along Interstate or Highway 59 right now, covered with water.
You know, I think if you travel, you know, from Houston to Katy, you know, you take the Katy Freeway or near same Houston Tollway here, right there is a mess.
So stay right there. We got all the information you need to know as we continue here on this extended version of Weather Center Live.
All right, a couple of things to update you on. We've got about 8 inches of rain on the west side of town. You're taking a live look at our affiliate coverage here as they cover what we're covering here at the Weather Channel, the heavy rain in the Houston metro area that's causing truly historic flooding in this area, something we haven't seen in a long time. It takes something like a tropical storm or generally a hurricane to cause this kind of flooding in Houston. We're getting it from thunderstorms we've seen over the past couple of hours.
Again, thanks for joining us, guys. I'm Kelly Cass along with Mike Bettis. We are here in the lab. We've got the radar. We've got all the tools, you know, just kind of watching this situation unfold. And again, this is Houston, Texas, where we're seeing cars submerged in high water. We've seen at least a half foot of rain, and a flash flood emergency continues, especially on the west side of Houston.
We've had problems today in major metro areas in the state of Texas. The capital, Austin, got hit with, for them, some pretty historic flash flooding. And now we've got a similar situation unfolding for us in Houston. It's nighttime. It's very dangerous at night because you don't necessarily know exactly what's happening because of the depth of the water. Some new information for you here. Over 4 inches of rain, Bush Intercontinental, 10th wettest May on record now, 11.2 inches in county. First wettest May, by the way, 15.87 inches. So we're getting close, by the way. We're not that far off from that. I think we could get a couple of more inches before the night is over. Flash flood emergency for Harris and Fort Bend counties right now. Also, Brazoria County does have a flash flood warning that's extended now for another 3 hours or so. Some of the new pictures coming in just revealing how bad it is out there. And if you have to be in a vehicle, I mean, there's just no choice. Don't drive.
Yeah.
We always say don't drive if you don't have to. In this situation, I don't think you have any choice but to stay wherever you are and not travel. It's that bad. It could potentially be deadly if you get in your vehicle tonight.
I was speaking with the Public Information Officer for Emergency Management in Houston, and they're having trouble even getting to work. The emergency guys can't get to work. So if that gives you an idea of how bad it is, he was saying there's lightning that caused house fires, and trucks are having a hard time even navigating some of the streets, getting to those. This is a very serious situation, and they are urging folks to stay off the roads. We know the Rockets game got out, what, about an hour ago? Right. And they were telling people just stay in place. I imagine thousands of people are still sitting in the arena.
So Toyota Center holds 18,000 people. Now imagine you take those 18,000 people and you put them on the roads. Now, no, not everyone drove there by themselves, but say you put half that many vehicles, say you put 9,000 vehicles on the road at night in a flash flood, it could be an epic disaster. But so many neighborhoods right now are impassable. You know, we're talking, looking at this Karchment subdivision, by the way, near the intersection of Richmond and Chimney Rock, has 3.5 feet of water in it.
Wow.
Already. That's happening. Halls, Buffalo, Brays, Keegan's, all those bayous are out of their banks. Brickhouse Gully over.
All right, as we're watching this live coverage from KPRC, we're just amazed to see the lightning that is still flashing across the sky. It is still pouring rain right across the city of Houston, and was 7-8 inches of rain now over the last 3-4 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the radar in a 4-hour loop and just focus right on Houston. You'll see it rains and it rains and it rains and it doesn't move. The rainfall rate may have let up just a hair, but it's still coming down in bucketfuls for us here in Houston. We still have the flash flood warnings. We still have the flash flood emergency. Brazoria, Fort Bend, and Harris counties where we have the flash flood warning. The emergency, by the way, is for the west side of town, and it's really the west side of town. I think downtown now that's got some of the bigger issues. You know, you're looking right downtown. It's raining heavily.
It just started pouring again.
Right in downtown, and that is, you know, that's where. You know, we've had the big rain that's been filling up the Buffalo Bayou. I think this will happen again. I think not only Buffalo, I think it's the White Oak Bayou. That's right down there. That's going to fill up as well. It's already full. It's already out of its banks. So this is only going to make it worse. There's a close-up view, and the heavy rain is Houston to Bel Air, maybe right in there. And that's God, it's just a bad situation. I just don't know how you're going to get anywhere in the Houston metro area. And we focus on the 6-hour rainfall totals here. Wow. They are impressive. Look at this blossom. I don't even remember the last time I saw white. We're
off the color scale now, going to white.
White showed up on there. I don't even remember the last time I saw white. Estimating now 8.5 inches of rain in this says 6 hours. Most of this has fallen in the course of about 4. That's 8.5 inches in Sugar Land. So obviously that's why we have the flash flood emergency there. Here's the future radar, and it still shows the heavier rain around the Houston area.
Yeah, when does it
finally end? About 35.5 feet. And that is one of the
again, KPRC covering that story. We're covering it here nationally for you because it is such a big event. It's a big city that's dealing with it, and we're talking about all the bayous that have really risen in such a short amount of time and so many feet.
Imagine, you know, how quickly these waters are going up, and as he was mentioning there at the KPRC affiliate, look at the White Oak Bayou. By the way, I think this is just remarkable. They went from about 10 feet up to 35 feet. Actually, went up about 26.7 feet in 2 hours and 15 minutes.
No wonder we've got issues.
Imagine. And same for us, you know, Buffalo Bayou. These bayous are the highest they've been since Hurricane Ike came through back in 2008. So what we're seeing in thunderstorms is rivaling what we saw in a hurricane back in 2008.
It's like a tropical system, only we didn't have days and days to prepare for this one, you know. Another stat I just want to throw out there in Houston, 8 inches of rain in 3 hours, actually 9 inches. That is actually a 100-year rainfall rate. So kind of wrap your brain around that stat, because that just goes to show you this doesn't happen ordinarily. This is not an ordinary event. We do get thunderstorms all the time in Houston, and as you mentioned, it's a flood-prone city, but this is remarkable.
They do a lot to mitigate the flood concerns there. They've got millions of people to protect. It just floods very easily. But what we're looking at this evening, I think, is something that's that we just don't see every.
If you're at home, if you're one of those people that works shift work and is heading out to work, just call your.
All right, we've been listening in to local coverage there, courtesy of KRPC. The situation getting worse. You heard them right. Interstate 10 under 6 feet of water. People trapped in their cars, and you saw the Katy Freeway there. People are just stuck out there.
Those pictures jaw-dropping as how many people are stranded because they were out there on the roadways, maybe either unaware or tried to get through that high water and they couldn't make it. There's the big blow-up of storms that we've had here across East Texas, and Houston has just been the bullseye for all of it. On the radar, it is incredibly impressive. It's been raining for hours. We're going on about our 5th hour of rain now. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning that was newly issued for Brazoria, Fort Bend, and Harris counties, which is basically right on top of the flash flood warning that we have. That goes until 2:30. The flash flood warning goes until 2:45. I believe they'll probably extend that, though. Look at the heavy rain now in downtown Houston and and south side of Houston as we had this strong flow come in from the Gulf of Mexico and just feed everything. So Sienna Plantation over toward Pearland, we've got some big issues there. And then we'll get you right into the downtown Houston area. We're noticing Katy Freeway, by the way. If you're not familiar, Katy Freeway right there, basically it's I-10 is what the Katy Freeway is known as, and that's covered in water. We saw the trucks, we saw all the vehicles just stranded right there on the highway.
Yeah.
It's nothing but stranded motorists right now. So this is a really, really bad situation. Take a look at the 6-hour rainfall totals. Look how this blossoms into the white.
And now the southeast side's starting to see some white too.
So let's go ahead and we'll query some of this and show you 8.5 inches over there around Sugarland, and then I'm going to show you the southeast side of town there and how much have they picked up. Plenty, I'm sure. So over 7 inches there, and then the west side of Houston, over 7 inches there. I mean, this is pretty 8 inches near Sugarland. So you get the picture here. It's been a ton of rain for us, and it's not going to end probably for another hour to 2.
Close to 10 inches in some areas in the Houston metro. So that's why we've been with you throughout the night. Mike and I, we're going to pass the baton, though, because our live coverage will continue. Coming up, we've got Mark Thibodeau, Dr. Greg Postel. They will take it from here and keep you updated on this dangerous situation that's still unfolding here in Houston.
That's right. Flash flood warning and flash flood emergency for the Houston metro area. The emergency manager asking everyone to shelter in place and do not travel. More continuing coverage is next.